Hi, this is Jill with JourneyWithJill.net, and if you have a lot of tomatoes coming on in your garden and you're not quite sure what to do with them, but you don't want to spend all summer in the kitchen, I have a method that I use to can my tomatoes that cuts the preparation time in half. If you've read how to can tomatoes, most of the instructions require you to blanch the tomatoes and peel them and take out the seeds, and it just takes forever. You can be in the kitchen all day long. I've tried. But I don't want to spend my summer in the kitchen, so I found another way that actually makes it quicker, and I use this for almost all of my canning in my tomatoes. I use it for tomato sauce, tomato paste, spaghetti sauce, salsa, pretty much anything. Taco sauce too, I did that last year. All it takes is a KitchenAid mixer and the fruit and vegetable strainer attachment from KitchenAid. I bought this a few years ago, and let me tell you, it has saved my time dramatically. So what I'm going to do in this video is show you exactly how I use it and how you can use it with your tomatoes to cut your time in half. So you're going to start out with the KitchenAid mixer, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to unscrew this. The fruit and vegetable strainer attachment comes with several parts, but if you do it a few times, it won't be that hard. This is the hopper, so this is the main part of the attachment. And the next thing you're going to do is take this little attachment right here, I'm not sure what it's called, and you're going to put it inside the hopper inside here. And what that does is if you put it all the way in, you can see that you've got the screw there that will go into the actual KitchenAid mixer. Now, after you put this in, you're going to put this little contraption right there. That's actually what's going to grind the tomatoes. And then on top of that, you've got this one. Now, they all have names, I'm sure, in the manual, but I haven't looked in the manual for a while, so I'm just going to call them little attachments. All right, once you get that settled right there in those grooves, if you can see that right there, you're going to put this screw on and you're going to screw that in, just like that, and it's firm. Now you're going to attach it to the mixer. There you go. And then just for safety, I put the screw back in. Now after this, you're going to put this cover on. Just like that. And there's also a cover that goes on here, but I think I forgot to get it, but you'll put the little plastic cover on top of there. The next thing you'll need is 2 bowls or a jar. I use a quart-sized canning jar just so it's easier, but if you have a whole lot of tomatoes, you might need a bigger bowl because you're going to get a lot of sauce out of this. I'm going to put it right here. When you strain the tomatoes, all the sauce is going to go from right here into the jar. And then you want a bowl for the trash. The great thing about this fruit and vegetable attachment, strainer attachment, is that you don't have to blanch. You don't have to do anything. It already peels it and takes the seeds out all in one whack. So you don't have to do anything, any of that. The only thing you have to do is take off the little tops of the tomatoes, and if you've got bigger tomatoes, you'll need to slice them, and then they just go directly in the hopper. So I've got a variety of tomatoes here I'm going to show you. I've got about 5 pounds today. Now, most of the time when you're canning tomato sauce, you'll want a paste tomato. Those are thicker, they have more flesh, they have less juice, so you're going to actually have more tomato product. You can still do this with slicing tomatoes, you'll just have a whole lot more juice, so you'll have to cook them down longer. So I've got paste tomatoes with me today, and this one right here is, it's supposed to be an Amish paste tomato, but I'm not sure if I mixed up the seeds, and this might be a Hungarian heart because it's quite large. But I've got this one right here. And if you can see down here, I've already taken the top off. Then I'm going to cut it. And we'll see if quarters will work. Now I'll have to cut this one in 8s because it's a little bit bigger. Just have to cut them where they'll fit in here in this hole in the hopper. The next one I've got is an Amish paste tomato, and I'll take the top off of that. And since the Amish paste ones are a little bit bigger, I'll have to cut those as well, just into quarters. And then some of the smaller ones, like this Roma, I won't even have to cut. I'll just take the top off and then just put that directly in the hopper, so I don't even have to cut that if they're small. And then if you're like me, not all your tomatoes are perfect, and some of them might have a little bit of the blossom end rot. All you have to do is cut that off. And then you can save the rest of the tomato and put that directly in the hopper. All right, so now that I've got some of my tomatoes quartered or eighths, or some of them I don't even have to slice at all, I'm ready to start putting them in the KitchenAid attachment. I'm going to put it on about a 4 to a 6. And I'm just going to start putting them in the hopper. And then this I will use to smash down in there. And you can see that the paste is already starting to come out right here. I'm sorry, the sauce, not the paste. Eventually we'll make it into paste, but this is a sauce. And then you'll see right here the skin and the seeds are all coming out here. And all that is the trash. As you can see, this is very quick work. I'm able to do about 5 pounds of tomatoes in about 5 to 10 minutes, so that is a huge amount of time cut in half or even less by using this. Now I'm going to pause this here and I'm going to give you a closer look at what's actually going on here to give you an idea how the sauce is being created. Okay, as you can see, I have gotten myself a helper. My daughter loves helping me with this part of it, so while she is doing it, I'm going to show you what's actually being done with the sauce. So let me pull this out. Okay. All right, so she is pushing the tomatoes in the hopper, and then you can see right here that the sauce is coming out into the jar. And up here, you can see what's actually going on with the sauce. Anything that can fit through these holes, that's the sauce that we get. So you see that the skin and the seeds and all that come through here. So it's just a pretty easy process. And even a 5-year-old can do it. So as you can see, this method takes a lot of time out of the canning tomatoes and is even a fun family activity. If you want to know kind of what I make with the sauce, I will make tomato sauce, and what I'll do is, depending on how thick the sauce ends up being after I strain the tomatoes, I'll put them on the simmer for a little while until it gets the thickness that I need. For tomato paste, of course, it needs to simmer a lot down to make the tomato paste. I also do spaghetti sauce and taco sauce, and I will use this also kind of as a crushed tomato base for homemade salsa. So pretty much use it for everything that requires tomato sauce. Now for chili, I do the recipe calls for diced tomatoes. I just do the sauce instead of the diced tomatoes, and you can't tell a difference. But of course, I don't really like fresh tomatoes, so I'm fine with having no chunk in my chili. So we're good with that. But regardless, it saves a lot of time, and it has been totally worth the investment of the attachment of the KitchenAid strainer. And if you have any questions, be sure to comment, and I would love to know if this is something that's helpful for you. For more garden tips and in the kitchen, you can reach me on my blog at journeywithjill.net. Hope you have a great day and a great gardening season.